Hi, everybody. Hopefully, some folks come on in here and we get an opportunity to chat today. Um, I'm gonna wait a little bit and see if anybody comes in, if anybody feels like talking, because I wanted to address some things that's been, on my mind and on my heart. Hey, one gal, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad somebody showed up. Hey, the original mermaid. I appreciate you guys. Just wanted to have a crown therapy moment. Yes, I'm so glad y'all here. Even if it's just a couple of us, we're gonna sit down, talk like family. Glad to see absolutely everybody. And let's talk, y'all. Hey, Flower Child. Hey, Carmen. It's so good to see y'all. How y'all doing? All right. So we got some kin folks coming in the room. Let's talk, y'all. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. And Marcella, hey, I wish you would come up here and chat with us because I know you got something to contribute to what I got going on today. But if you can't, I understand. Today, what I want to talk about, y'all, is unmasking us. Now we done had us a lot of fun over the last few days talking about unmasking some of these silly people that's masquerading as cartoon characters and all that. But let me say this to you. We got to do some internal work too. And of course, I got my black crown on today because we got to get into some real black business, right? Now, we got to talk about unmasking us too. And the reason I call it unmasking us is because I think all of us have we all got some masks that we hide behind, some masks that we wear. Y'all know what I'm saying. The stuff that we kind of hide that we don't show everybody. And it's true, we don't owe everybody that level of transparency. We don't. We don't. We got to have people that we can trust ourselves to be transparent around. Hey, Zelene. Hey, Valencia. Hey, make it make sense. And then we also got people, hey, Miss Shirley, thank you so much. I'm glad you're here. Oh, real quick, as y'all come in, please hit the like button, sit down, get comfortable, put your crown on if you got one. If your version of your crown is a nice pair of stilettos, slip them on, get your wine, get your sparkling water, and let's talk like sisters, okay? So I know what you're saying, sis. Me too. So, hey, Miss Janice. So, what I'm getting at, y'all, is that, and don't mind me, I'm sweating a little bit. I'm having a hot flash, just another one of those transparent moments. But hay seasons of June. And so what I'm saying is some of these masks that we wear, we're not wearing them necessarily because we want to be fake or because we hiding from people. Sometimes the mask that we putting on is because we hiding from ourselves. Sometimes there's things about us that we don't necessarily want to we don't want to address. We don't really want to deal with it. It's, trauma. It's things that hurt us in the past. It's stuff that we really would rather sweep under the rug. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to it, we have to really consider, okay, am I wearing a mask? Am I really showing people who I am? Because, we all have that sister girl moment where it's like we talking to people and somebody will necessarily, try us or be playing in our face. And we catch ourselves saying things like, oh, no, you don't know me. Don't we do it, y'all? And the reason we end up doing that and letting these people know that they really don't know us is because they don't really know us. And we know these people don't know us. And why do we know that? We know that because we decided that we were going to have a certain level of protection, is what I would call it. I think we give ourselves a certain level of protection by hiding. We don't really let people see that, if you get my timing wrong, I'm going to cuss you out like a dog. Y'all know we got that side and we hide it for various reasons. It's just, sometimes it's just good business to hide the stuff that ain't so pretty. Y'all know. Y'all know I ain't lying. All right. Ooh. So those are the type of things that we have to really consider. Hey, make it make sense. And so that's what I wanted to
Hi.
talk about today. Was how you doing, sis? Just wanted to have a very transparent moment about those masks that we put on because y'all know we wear them. We do. And I think that this whole situation with the cartoon character and other things that we run across where people are being exposed, because more and more we seeing the word exposed everywhere. you know, all through the blogs, all through social media. This person is exposed, that person is exposed. When we start seeing all that, it's because somebody's hiding something. And I think we all get triggered by that, and we're all intrigued by that because we've been known to wear a mask or to ourselves. Okay. So for me, being open again, transparent, whether it's safe or not, we'll get to that later because y'all know we're going to talk about some of them friendly enemies a little bit later on. But I know for me, it was very difficult to be open because I went through a lot of being, I won't necessarily say rejected, but I was a kid that could have been picked on if my mouth wasn't so terrible. You know, if that makes sense. And then my mouth got worse and worse as I got older because it was a form of defense, if y'all can understand me. And it was a form of defense because I was around people who were careless with my feelings and didn't mind attacking and didn't mind picking you apart and criticizing you to a point of, if you didn't put up that wall of defense, if you didn't put up that hard shell, that they would just tear you apart and you would see other people get torn apart in front of you. And I think for me it was a matter of it triggered something. Like, I'm not gonna let you just rip me to shreds. So I put up that mask of being hard and tough and callous, and it becomes a habit. And I think at one point it was such a habit that people were really thinking that that was the real me. Real live, y'all. They thought that was the real me, to the extent that people would say things like, "Oh, well, I know that didn't bother her," and "Oh, I know she not upset about that." And I would catch myself saying, "Y'all a damn lie. I am upset about that." And why are y'all pretending like, like I don't have feelings? And then I had to stop and look in the mirror and say, "Wait a minute, girl. They pretending you don't have feelings because you've been pretending like you don't have feelings." You know what I'm saying? And I think we all have to have that moment of self-reflection. My father used to say to me, if one person say you a jackass, maybe they a jackass. If two people say it, maybe they friends. But if everybody's saying it, everybody ain't lying on you. And that's not to say that what they're saying is the truth. But if everybody is getting the same impression about you, that's something that you giving off. That's how you're making people feel. The energy that you putting out, that's how it's coming across. Regardless of how you meant it, that's how people are receiving it. Y'all get what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, let's talk about these masks because we wear them, and I don't feel like any of us should be hard on ourselves, and more importantly, we shouldn't be hard on each other for these masks. Like, we got to learn how to recognize it in our sisters, not judge them for it, encourage them while they're going through it, and then try to help them come up out of it. Because y'all know this ain't easy. Us getting to that point of maturation and growth where we can just be our own authentic selves, flaws and all. It's not an easy thing, y'all, and you know it. Hey, the original mermaid, thank you for the super sticker. I really appreciate you. Y'all are so awesome. I love my sisters in here. Yes. Oh, thank you, Miss Janice. But it's true. Like, we really have to look at the fact, like, okay, look at where you are now, and then remember where you were. Hey, the red lipstick hustler Lily, I love you. But and when we look back at who we used to be, that should help you to be more understanding and more considerate and more patient. Hey, Sister Essence 818. All right. As y'all come in, please hit the like button and get comfortable so we can chat. So that's what it comes down to. Like, we really have to, I believe when you start to see yourself in your sisters, then you'll have more patience. I think we don't have patience and we get upset with people and we want to, go after them. We want to judge. Doing pretty good, Candace. And we're so impatient because we forget that somebody had to be patient with us too. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-mm.
Make it make sense. You up here, girl. Tell us what you think about it, because it's
Well,
not just me talking. Y'all tell me what you want to tell me.
no, it's definitely not just you. And I have a tendency to do that myself. And I understand that mouth because I have a very sarcastic mouth. And I've learned to do that over the years because, my stature, even though I'm 6'7" in my mind, I tend to let everybody know that
Mhm.
just because this little cute face of mine and this 6'7" stature in my mind, don't let it fool you, because you can come for me if you want to, but this mouth will rip you to shreds. And it has on several occasions. And my current girlfriend says, you gotta love her, but she'll make you want to punch her in the face.
It's
But
like
it
that
it
sometimes.
is what it is. Because
Hmm.
like I said, you either love me or hate me, but what you don't want to do is, say something out of pocket, because I will make you cry. But
Right.
that's not
But you got
I
to look at, okay,
I'm
sis,
an older
perfect
person.
example. But you got to ask yourself, where did that come from? Like
And
none
it
of
came
us
from,
who are
like I
born
said,
with these
being
mouths.
younger.
Yep,
Right,
none
being
of us were
younger
born.
and knowing that I was told were coming at by tall people, because like I said, I'm 6'7" in my mind. And they were always coming at me for no reason, because yeah, I know you were with my man, this, that, and the third. I'm like, girl, bye. I don't want him. I don't need him and whatever. But like I said, my little 6'7" in my head stature made them think they could come for me, and I was one ready to rock and roll, lock and loaded.
You
So
so
between my
crazy.
mouth and my hands, it was what it was. You can come and get it if you want it. But after I finished shredding you to pieces with this mouth, these hands were still ready to go.
Oh Lord,
So
your hand
I was
was
I was with
anointed,
it.
huh?
Yes, they were
Okay.
blessed and anointed and ready to drag you. So my mother was called on several occasions. She said, "What did you do now? You know what happened. It wasn't my fault. But you see,
Okay.
this face is still pretty at
Now
the
you
end of
know
the
what?
day."
I want to address what Sister JC said. Hey, girl. She said, I've always wanted the ability to check people verbally. Mm. Now, let me tell you something about that, right? Now, y'all know my mouth real quick. It's terrible and it's quick. But I've always had friends who were right where you are, that wanted to have that ability to have that quick mouth. And I'm gonna tell you something, and this is so true. Thank God that you don't, because sometimes, girl, that mouth gets you in trouble. Sometimes that mouth will shoot off, and it's got a mind of its own. That mouth
Yeah.
will shoot off, and you will tell somebody about their behind so quick, and then you
Yes.
end up having to backtrack because you really should have held your peace that time. But
Yes.
it's but when your mouth is fast, your mouth will get ahead of you. And
Yes.
somebody who might actually need some patience, they might be
Mm,
acting a whole donkey, but at
mm.
that particular moment, they didn't need you to check them. They needed you to love them. And so
Preach.
then you end up feeling bad because your mouth done
Yes.
took off like a
Yes.
racehorse, and you
Yes.
trying to pull it back, but before you know it, you done read them cover to cover.
Mm, mm, mm.
I'm telling you, you see, sis about to catch the Holy Ghost over there, because I'm telling you the truth. When your mouth is real quick like that, baby, that mouth will get you in trouble.
You
My
just
mouth
can't see
has
my feet.
Let me tell you, my mouth has cost me opportunities. My mouth has hurt people, and then I felt bad and I was hurt myself because I had hurt somebody with my mouth. There was times when my mouth was not, fun and jokes, and it was just, saying mean and hateful things. You know what I'm saying? So we have to consider, like, everything that happens with you and to you, the things you have and even the things you don't have. Sometimes, sis, you just have to look up and say, God, thank you. Everything's for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk, y'all. I be laughing and joking about, the fact that I'm constantly on and off of diets. But it's the reason why God didn't give me no fast metabolism. Y'all would be begging me to get dressed right now. Hmm. I'm a certified hoochie. I got a badge. So, when he put that weight on me, that was his way of saying, Seanitra, get dressed, girl. Hey, Ophelia. Hey, Chanel. Hey, Kendra. I ain't miss y'all. I was just running my mouth. Hey, Bella Tip. I see you. That's right. But when I tell you, sometimes what you did not get and what you do not have is a blessing. Some things we didn't need because he knew we wasn't going to do right with them. Some of us who got them can't do right with them.
Yes.
Am I talking to anybody?
Yes.
Okay, the real Miss Fake Avatar. You know what I'm saying, girl. So sometimes we just have to be real with ourselves. Even sometimes, like I say, these tough exteriors that we put forth, it's not real, y'all. It's not real. We play tough, especially as black women, because the world does not give us the luxury of being vulnerable. I'm gonna say
Femininity.
that again because I want somebody to really get me. As
Mm,
black
mm.
women, the world does not give us the luxury of being vulnerable. And what I mean by that is, As black women, if something happens to us, the first thing they say is, well, you didn't stop him. You didn't want, you must have liked it,
mm,
or you're stupid.
mm,
If you get hurt, then, what's she crying for? And the
mm,
reality is you crying because something hurt you. That's why you crying.
mm, mm,
If it didn't hurt you, you wouldn't be crying about it. But we don't often get the luxury of being hurt, of being vulnerable, of even being victims when we're literally victims. In essence, talking about some real truth there, y'all better read it. So when you start looking at things, and we're taught not to cry and to play like we tough when we're not. We're expected to have this insane strength and masculine energy and to act like superheroes, so much so that when people hurt us, hey sis, we have to pretend like we okay. Y'all know I ain't lying. The first time a man hurt your feelings, I mean really hurt your feelings, what's the first thing you're tempted to say? I don't care. He ain't hurt me. And you lying. He did hurt you. And it's okay to say that somebody hurt you. But we have to put up this fake exterior, this tough exterior, because that's what's expected from us. And then when we see another sister that's actually being vulnerable, then we find ourselves in the position of wanting to judge her and call her a weakling. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do is admit that you've been hurt.
mm,
Let me say it again. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do, y'all, is to admit that somebody hurt you. And don't feel bad if you just not learning it, because guess what? I was over 30 before I figured out that I could say that somebody hurt me. Ain't
mm,
that
mm,
something?
mm.
So
Yeah.
you never too old to learn. You're never too old to get a different perspective. And you're never too old to tell your truth and to speak your truth. Tell it from your perspective. Nobody has to understand it, but at least when you get it out, it's a therapeutic moment for you. And I'm gonna shut up because we got some sisters up in here, and my mini me is in here too. So y'all tell me what y'all think about it. Weigh in on the topic. Tell me what y'all think.
Okay, hey guys, hey Seanitra, hey
Hey,
panel, how y'all
lovely
doing?
Miss
Hey.
I
Wonderful.
just had to come in and just really weigh on this real quick because Seanitra, you have hit a great point. See, I'm the only girl, and I was raised in a family of all boys, so I had to be tough. My dad went into the military, my brother went into the military, I went into the military, so I couldn't be, you know, all girly like, and I didn't play with dolls growing up. I played with dump trucks.
Me too,
I
girl.
played with my brothers, you know, but I couldn't show no kind of weakness because my dad wouldn't allow that. He wouldn't allow it. So, like I say, I have my face, I have a fake face put up, but underneath, I'm so soft, girly, but I don't show it to them.
Right.
I don't show it to them, but the people outside of my family, they know I'm girly, but the people inside of my family, they think I'm so tough and tomboyish. They don't
Hmm.
never see me cry. I don't cry in front of my children.
You know what, girl? For a long time, I didn't either. And I still don't do the best at the crying. I'm not the best. My daughter will tell you, but I'm still working on my emotional IQ. But we have to make it our business to show our vulnerability as women in front of our children, especially our daughters. We need to make sure they understand that you can be strong and still be vulnerable. You can be strong and
Yes,
still emote and still show your emotions. You can still be, you know, personable and real and just human. And I think we
that's why
lose a
I.
lot of our humanity. I won't say lose it. It's been stripped away from a lot of us.
Yeah,
And it's
Black
unfair. And
women.
that's another victimization of black women. Hey Marcella, sis, I'm
How
so
are
glad
you?
you're
hey
here.
Marcella.
How are you?
That's
I
I,
want to
that's why
tell
I
y'all.
said I've come a long way because, my girls, all of my children are grown. I have one son and two daughters, and they're all grown. And my girls used to ask me all the time, Mama, why we never see you cry? And I had to just
Mhm.
literally sit down and explain to them, how my dad raised me and my brothers.
Well,
But the grandkids, he treated the
Mhm.
grandkids totally different.
Yeah,
But that's a normal
Totally
thing.
different. I
It's
exactly.
mean,
very normal.
totally. So I
Love
had to
them hard.
explain to my children. And then, I knew my parents loved me because they showed me love,
But they
but they
didn't say
never
it.
told me.
Hmm.
But I made it my life. I tell my children every day that I love them, even though they have never just really seen me cry.
Yeah.
They have never really seen me emotional because I always go in a room and I hide it. And they be
Yeah.
like, "Mama, you so strong." That I be like, "Nah, yeah, if y'all only know, Mama
Okay.
need a friend." See, I don't really have friends. I'm not standoffish. I can get along with anybody,
Hmm.
but I don't just really have friends because I don't. I just wasn't raised. Just wasn't.
But that's all right,
It was
sis.
always me and my brothers.
It's always
Hmm.
one day at a time. I want to acknowledge this Cash App. Drea Loving Life says both of my parents are from the Caribbean. So we never spoke about our feelings or showed emotions when I was growing up.
Yep.
Totally understand and can identify with that. Marcella,
Me
I know
too.
you got something good for me, sis. What you want to add?
I'm being serious. I grew up, I told y'all about my mother abusing me. I mean, severely. She used to burn me and beat me and never told me she loved me. And when I became 50, I asked my mother why. And she told me because my father left her. And as I grew up, honest to God, I have never cried over a boyfriend. I have never got my feelings hurt because my mother broke me all the way down and I had to have that tough spirit. But women of our culture, I'm Puerto Rican and black, but we know how to handle things like COVID-19. We knew how to, fix a meal. We can make some soup. We can handle things. See, other people was struggling trying to figure out how they was gonna eat. When my mother used to buy powdered milk and add
Mhm.
water and made it as we go. Even though my mother had money, she
Hmm.
mistreated me, and now I have a hard time trying to maneuver a relationship with my mother. But I do because the Bible tells me to honor my mother and father. But the Bible also say, don't be provoked.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
like, I have friends. I have people that really want to be close to me, but because of my abuse and I
Hmm.
have had therapy, I can't really get close to somebody. Now, when somebody tries to hurt me, I try to be sensible in everything. I'm talking about the unmasking. I tried to
Yep.
just be quiet when things was going on that wasn't my business. But once you add me on to it,
Yep.
you make it look like I'm siding with your bad.
Right.
Thank you,
Hmm.
And
Marcella.
I had to speak up. And I didn't care what people were saying about me because I knew that, I didn't agree with that behavior. But when you make it look like I'm against the person, you make it you have people thinking I'm down with that stuff. And I'm 55 years old. But
Hmm.
because of my abuse, I can't get emotional. And my
Yep.
children are grown and tell me, Mom, we have never seen you cry, even when we lose people. When
Yep.
somebody die, you don't cry. It's because of the whippings, the beat, the extension cord being choked. I can't cry now. I can't even get it out. I don't know. I mean,
But
I
sis,
just
you have to look at it like this, Marcella. There may be a day when you let it all out. But one thing about it, like nobody can rush that moment for you. Nobody could rush that moment for any of us. Nobody could rush that moment for me. Like I walked around as tough as nails a long time. And it
mm,
took me to just realize, like, you know what, crying is like, what was that? What's that guy's name? Life Jennings. He had that on his first album. It was a line in a song, and he was like, crying is like taking your soul to the laundromat. And
mm.
I was literally almost 30 and I had to like just let it out. Like,
Yeah, but I
girl,
used to get angry now because of
yep,
the projection from my mother. Now I still have that anger that I have been through therapy and I have to control. I have to control my anger. So, you know,
yep,
I will let somebody know my warning. Listen, I'm not playing that. And then
That's
I'm
right.
55 years old and I will still throw these hands like I'm 20.
I know
I,
that's right.
and I just thank God. Thank you. I just got my
Hmm.
hair done. I just came out the beauty shop.
Yeah, you looking
So
good, sis. I ain't want to put you on
thank
the
Mm-hmm.
you.
spot
Yes,
because
Hey,
you
ma'am.
you
it's a
kind of
wig.
shining or
It's always
whatever.
a wig.
Hmm.
So I can get up and go.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
sis, I'm telling you, like I
I'm
understand
still
about the
trying to
anger
get
and makes it.
emotional.
Oh, Delicia Dismuke or Demuk. I hope I'm
This
saying it
this
right.
mute.
Dismute.
This mute.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for supporting us, babe. But yeah, like I'm with you on the anger. Like for me, it was anger. It was the hurt. It's like somebody can upset you, and everything you felt over the last 40 years will come out of you all at one
Mhm.
time, and it won't even be toward that person. It'll just be a buildup of
Mm-hmm.
And
everything
you
that you
may not
felt.
believe it. I still fear my mother. I still fear her
Oh, I
I
like
believe
I'm
it.
a child. Like I'm a child. I still, when she comes around me, I only can be there an hour or two the most. I
mhm,
cannot stay around her because I just said, "Why did you hate me so much?" But I asked her that at age 50. And
mhm.
she told me because my father left her. My father didn't leave her. My father died.
Mm.
But
He
see,
didn't leave her.
that was her dealing with that grief. Those five stages of grief are real. And when she got to that stage of anger, she stayed there and she unfortunately she vented that anger on you. Probably because you were the closest thing to her, you reminded her of him and reminded her of that hurt daily. Like our parents ain't perfect people, man. My mama crazy as hell. My daughter's here in this chat and she will tell you that is. Listen, girl, I call her my pet dragon. That lady is crazy, okay? And as much as I know she meant well, she did
Yeah.
some damage now. She did some damage, but she meant well. And it's like I think those masks and the things that we talk about now just being therapeutic and trying to support each other, it's almost like I don't know. It's like I wish our mothers had somebody to talk to that could tell them, "Hey girl, you doing too much." I
Mm.
feel like they could have benefited from a girlfriend that would just say, "Hey, sis, you need to stop. Why are you handling them kids like that?" You
And
know?
that's why apologizing is so important. When you do your sister wrong, you
Yep.
have to apologize. And it may not take the sting away, but you gotta heal yourself before you can heal anything else. And I learned that. I
Yeah.
Yep.
really learned that. And so that's why I said in all things, apology, all it was only apology needed.
That's it.
And
Yes.
it didn't go there. And when it didn't, I just said, I need to go and apologize if somebody feel like that me, because I don't want
Yeah.
to be a replica of my mom. I wanna let people know that if I do something wrong, tell me. But we black women,
Mm,
Hispanic women, we do not talk to each other. We just hold grudges and be snapping and talking about each other. And we gotta stop
yep.
that.
Yep. And
But I'm gonna
and
have
that's
to
the
get off this
thing.
phone while I'm driving. I'll sign back on once I get home. I'm only a mile away from home.
Okay,
Thank you,
sis, we'll
Marcella.
still be here. You
All
know
right.
we love you.
All right.
Come
Thank
on
you.
back when you get in the house now.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
And that's exactly what I needed to hear.
You know
This
I
week
get
was a
y'all,
bad
girl.
week. This week was a
Oh, she
very
got
bad
you.
week.
But you know, it's just
Mm-mm-mm.
the truth. And Marcella said something that's heavy, man. It starts
Yeah.
with an apology. Toya said it. Hey, Toya, acknowledge and apologize. Like
That's
acknowledge your
all.
wrong and then apologize for it. One of the things that I absolutely hate to hear, and this is just a pet peeve, is when I hear people say, if I did something to offend you.
Nope.
If I, what the hell you mean if? If the person is telling you that's already the if, there's no need to restate the if. Once they told you that what you did hurt them, offended them, damaged them, made them feel bad, devalued them, whatever the offense is, once they told you that, there's no need for you to say, if I did it. What the hell you mean if you did it? You did it. The only thing you need to do is acknowledge it and say, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm glad
And
you made me aware of that. I'm
mm-mm.
sorry, and I'm gonna do better by you, and I'm gonna do better by myself. And it's
Yeah.
it's heavy to apologize to other people, and then apologize to yourself. Mm. Somebody, I don't know. I feel like somebody needed to hear that. We have to be able to not only forgive other people, we have to be able to forgive ourselves for our behavior. Miss Lorene say we can't apologize, compliment, or trust each other. You know
Mm-mm.
what, girl? That's the general consensus, and that's how people. That's how we've been carrying ourselves, and we can't keep carrying ourselves that way, y'all. All we
No.
got is us. Let me say it again. All we got is us. Sometimes our men are not the most loyal. They are
So,
not the most trustworthy.
child.
If something happens to us, nobody's coming to your back except your sister. Let me make sure you understand that. Nobody's coming to your defense except your sister. Mm? So we have to learn how to treat our sisters better. Treat your sister like you treat yourself. Understand that that sister standing next to you, across from you, on the phone line with you, on this live with you, is going through the exact same stresses that you going through. If she ain't going through them now, she been through them.
Yes.
So we have to kind of regard our sisters the way we regard ourselves. Like there's no way around that thing. So it's like apologize to your sisters, acknowledge when you wrong, and then apologize to yourself. There's some of us right now that need to write a letter to our former selves and say I'm sorry. I mean, literally, y'all get a pen and pad and write a note to you, write a letter to you, address it to the younger you, and then apologize for everything that you refuse to forgive yourself for. Whatever you
Mm.
used to be that you still holding on to, any mistakes you made that you still just cannot let go, you need to write a letter to yourself and say, hey girl, I forgive you and I'm sorry. I'm sorry I let you down. I'm sorry I made bad choices. I'm sorry I ended up with that no good man. I'm sorry I allowed him to abuse me and you too. I'm
Mm.
sorry that I ended up messing around with illicit drugs or I ended up drinking too much. And I'm sorry that I surrounded myself with toxic friends. I'm sorry that I allowed
Mm.
people to use me and take advantage of my kindness. Whatever you still holding
Oh,
on to that you blaming yourself for, because ladies, some of the stuff we blaming ourselves for, it ain't even our fault.
better tell it.
You walking around blaming yourself because somebody else abused you, because somebody told you that because you a little black girl you not a victim. What they did to you, you let them do it. So you walking around with this weight on your back that's not yours. If you are, I'm not gonna judge you for it, but you need to write yourself a letter and apologize to your younger self, to your former self. I don't care. Thank you, Princess. She said she wrote it 30 years ago. But I don't care if your former self is last week and you still holding yourself accountable for something that happened last week. Forgive yourself and move on, because that's when you grow. Growth
Mm.
happens from that point and not before that point. We've all done it. Sometimes it started with our families. Sometimes it started with these bad relationships. Sometimes it started with maybe the mistakes you made parenting when you were younger, and you still holding that over your own head. Hey Latrice, I'm glad to have you here. Y'all hit the like button as you come in the room. But the things that we've done, we have to forgive ourselves, acknowledge it. And I think that's another problem that we have in forgiving ourselves, is because then we have to acknowledge the monster in the closet. We have to acknowledge the thing that we did that we're ashamed of. We have to acknowledge the thing that somebody else did to us that we're ashamed to even speak on, because it
Mm.
brings back pain and you're ashamed as though you did it to yourself. How now? We have to tell ourselves the truth. And the truth is, yesterday is gone and you cannot rewrite that story. The only thing you can do is choose what you do on the next page. You can choose to take your hurt, take your failures, take your successes, take your hurts, take your abuse, take your mistakes, and learn from them and make them into something bigger and better. And in order to do that, the masks have got to come off. Y'all, the mask got to come off. Who we fooling other than yourself? Who are we fooling, y'all? I'm just saying, let me know. Am I tripping? Does anybody hear where I'm coming from?
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? See, at the end of the day, it's some things underneath these masks that we want to hide from people. And we trying to hide it from people because we hide it from ourselves. We're hiding it from ourselves. These are the things we don't want to look at. These are the things we don't like. It's some of y'all running around right now, don't want to stop in front of that bathroom mirror unless you got that waist trainer on. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. It's some of us right now don't like to look in the mirror unless we got on a face full of makeup. Say it ain't so. It's the truth. We wear these masks for various reasons, and it's usually built around trauma and our past. And we got to come up out of it, and then we got to have patience with our sisters who ain't ready yet.
I know
Because
you're not gonna
everybody
keep
damn
having me
ready.
crying.
What you say, sister?
I said, I know you're not gonna keep having me crying on this YouTube. I do know that.
Girl, if you got to cry, let it out. Let it out. The more you cry, the less you go to the bathroom. It'll save you a trip. You got to let that water out. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. It ain't gonna hurt a thing. I promise you. I
Ooh,
wouldn't
I
lie to
will
you.
keep my face off of here.
I mean, but you know what? I mean, I don't mind people having their avatars up or whatever. Wink, wink. You know, everybody's scared of avatars now. But
Last time I
honest,
had my face on here, I was crying. No.
but honestly, like I don't mind showing my face for crown therapy and things like that because I
Mm-mm.
like that to be a transparent moment and just being, hey, Miss Sharon, and just being myself and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gotta be perfect. I don't have to be perfect to be me. I can accept me. If somebody else don't accept me, that'll be your problem and not mine. We're gonna file that up under you and not
Exactly.
me. But ain't nothing wrong with crying. Like if we gotta cry, we gotta cry. We're women. Every other group of women on this planet has the luxury of being women. They can gossip, they can cry, they can be weak, they can be frail, they can be the damsel in distress, they can be weak and all that. They can hell, they can even be victims. Ain't there nothing? But when it comes to the black woman, we got to have a cape on. We got to be superheroes. No matter what people do to us, we got to turn around and we got to forgive them. We can't even say, no, I'm not going to forgive you. You hurt me. If we gossip,
Yeah.
somebody come along and say, y'all ain't got no business gossiping. That's why I say, no, we gossip over here on this channel. We going to gossip because we women. We got a right to. That's what we do best. We going to do that thing. And we going to be women over here. If anybody feel like they need to cry, cry. I'm not going to judge you,
Mm-mm.
and I'm not going to let anybody else judge you for being a woman. Because whether we want to accept it or not, ladies, black women, your womanhood and your femininity is under attack.
Yes, it is.
I said, black women, your femininity and your womanhood is under attack. You have the
Definitely.
right to be a woman. We got a right to cry. We're mothers, we're wives.
Yeah.
We get hurt. We have emotions. We can be emotional. I may not be the most emotional, but I got some. And if I feel like I want to show it, I'm going to show it. Ain't nobody going to shame me for it either. Because right is right. This stuff that we got to let out, we got to let it out, y'all. We can't walk around like this. It's not healthy. I'm telling you. And I'm telling this whole thing that all us been going through on YouTube has really made me open my eyes and see things on a deeper level, girl. On a deeper level. Because I'm telling you, this whole Looney Tune adventure situation is triggering people because of those masks. It's triggering people because of those masks. It makes you wonder what's back there. It makes you wonder what's back there. What's behind that doggone mask?
Well, that's just team too much right there, that Looney
Uh-huh.
Tunes situation. Because
Uh-huh.
you going too far with that one. Because
Yes,
people have families.
that's true. But here's the thing. Okay, let's tie it in. Let's make it
Hmm.
relevant, right?
Yeah.
So we got Looney Tune Adventures, which is
Yeah.
possibly, one person or the other. This person is committing all kind of acts, right?
Crimes.
And with a mask on, because that's what that
Mm-hmm.
is. You're
Yeah.
committing acts with a mask on. And then
Mm-hmm.
if we're going to tie it in, we have to look at how many acts have we committed with a mask on.
Right.
And we felt perfectly okay to do it because we knew the people involved and the people we were interacting with. These Negroes don't know me.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the same thing. This person is emboldened to do certain things because there's a mask. And
Right.
we ourselves have been emboldened to act all sorts of ways, unbecoming ways, because
Yes.
of the mask that we got on.
Right.
Now y'all know I'm right about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, exactly, Rebecca. Honey, can't none of us stand Looney Tune Adventures. I think we done all had enough of them reruns.
Sure.
But that's the thing. We have to check ourselves to make sure we not running around here with masks on, y'all. This is what we can't
Mm.
do. We
No.
can't do that. Not
Mm-mm.
and be healthy. When we look at that situation, I know we laugh at it. It's entertaining. It has been more entertaining than the whole season of RHOA, Married to Medicare, all that. And it's fun to have a laugh at it. But let's talk
Medicare.
about the truth. Well, let's make sure we not doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
That person is sick. We can't swear to who that person is just yet. Although I'm gonna say this, if y'all leave it to Sister Nosy, I believe she gonna find out real shortly.
Oh, she
That
gonna find out. She's
that
determined.
gal
Okay.
ain't dropping it. That gal ain't dropping it at all.
She is
But
mad.
but while she's in hot pursuit, we got to make sure we ain't running around here with masks on either like some banditos. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what we can't do. Now that's just where I'm gonna leave it on that. That's that on that. But
Yeah.
here's the other thing that I want to hit on. Y'all, we need to talk about some of these friendly enemies because I done ran into a few of them. And I know y'all done ran into some. And I don't even
Yeah.
feel like I got to really tell y'all what a friendly enemy is because I believe you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know them people that sit around like they congratulating you, patting you on the back, but they really looking for the soft spot to put that knife in. I want to talk
Mm-hmm.
about it, y'all. Let's talk. How do y'all deal with those kind of people when you know they don't mean you any good and you're trying to, finesse the situation? You're trying to deal with it with a little finesse and a little diplomacy, before you go to acting like your former self. So, what y'all think? How do you deal with these people? Because I run into them. I know y'all run into them too.
The
And
same mouth. I say hi from a distance when they call. Hi, how you doing? Matter of fact, oh, let me tell you, I got a good story for you. Well, I'm trying
mhm,
not to get mad, but I need to get mad because that'll keep me out my feelings.
there
I
you
don't have to
go.
worry about my mama right now. So, December is my birthday. Around that time, we were
Uh
going
huh.
to Vegas, and I had my mask on my face. We got
Mhm.
on one airplane. I hate Frontier with a passion. So we got on. We took one flight from our airport to the other airport. So we were what's the word?
Had a layover.
Whatever. Yeah. So we went to the
Mhm.
other location, and then when we got on the other plane to get on. The lady, we were halfway there to get on the plane. She was like, "Oh no, you can't get on the plane with that mask because it has a little filter on it." I said, "Well, what? When did it say that I can't get on the plane? I just got off one of your planes and nobody said anything. Now you gonna tell me I can't get on another one of your planes?"
Mm.
And that's the problem. So then my girlfriend, okay, she gets real rowdy about every little thing. Well, that had to been me, da 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 da. I said, well, let's just take the mask. I'm just gonna take the mask. It's not a big deal. So she gets on a plane. She can't sit her ass down without being quiet. She's still raising Cain. Da 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 da. Well, if that had been me, da 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 da. Now they're letting these dogs on this plane, fur everywhere, hair everywhere, not in cages, mind you. But I gotta wear a mask that doesn't have a filter on it. People are wearing bandanas around their necks, not really covering up anything, not really keeping the germs out or whatever. It's okay. But I have to wear another mask that match my little headband. I was accessorizing, like Pop said, accessorizing. Okay. So
That
whatever.
coordinate.
That's like coordinate. I was
Coordinate.
coordinating. So then I took the little funky mask, didn't say anything to her. So then my girlfriend was saying, "Oh, so they can have these dogs on this plane, not in cages, but she worried about your mask." And she loud when she talks too. So I'm sitting by the door, by the window. Keep this in mind, mind you. I'm sitting by the window. My girlfriend is in the aisle. Now she's definitely like 6 feet one. And again, in my mind, I'm 6'7". So everybody listen. So then she's again loud as all get out. And then the lady comes back. By this time, I could tell she's getting angry. I didn't say anything. I just took the mask, put it on. She said, "You can wear this under or over." So this little white guy sitting behind me, he's listening to the whole thing. He's just laughing at her. And I just took it, didn't say anything. And then she came back through. She bumped into my girlfriend's leg. She said, "Well, excuse me." My girlfriend said, "There is no excuse for you." I was like, "Oh my gosh." So then
Mm-mm.
she came back again to get off the plane. My girlfriend took her mask down and was getting ready to eat her popcorn. She said, "You need to put your mask on." This is where it pops off. She just pulled it down under her chin to eat the popcorn. She said, "Well, how am I going to eat if I have my mask on? You got these dogs in here. Nope, everybody's close to each other. Da 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 da." So then, next thing we know, the plane isn't moving. And she
Mhm.
said, as she was walking off, "You must be a Trump supporter." Oh my God, this is going from bad to worse. I hadn't said a word. I just took the stupid mask, put it on under my mask. My girlfriend is go off on this lady. She left. I'm like, "Why are you carrying on? I just want to get to Vegas for my birthday, live it up.
Mhm.
Whatever." You are
But
going
yeah,
on and on with this lady. So then
but
I'm
it's
trying to wrap this up, y'all.
uh-huh.
So then she tells her that the plane is still not moving. All of a sudden, there's a weight issue. There's no weight issue on this plane. Then the guy comes and said, "Well, oh, you need to get off the plane." I'm like, "Who is you? You need to get off the plane again. Who is you?" So he's not telling us who you is. Next thing you know, we all got to get off the plane. The girl in the middle of us, she hadn't said anything the whole time. So everybody has to get off the plane because I'm not moving. I hadn't said anything, hadn't done anything. I'm like, what is the problem here? The girl in the middle saying she hadn't said anything, hadn't done anything. The guy behind me is like, "Oh, so they're just trying to be all superior over y'all, raise some power over y'all because none of y'all had done anything wrong." And I'm like, "What is going on here?" So now we got to get off the plane because the heifer is mad about nothing. So I'm like,
Mm.
"Oh, okay." And I know my girlfriend was going off on her, but still, she didn't put her hands on her. She didn't say anything out of pocket, but she's just in
Mm.
her feelings. So then the woman comes in and said, "Well, you don't have a mask on." I was like, "Wait, what? I don't have a mask on." I'm sitting with two masks on my face. I got a picture of the two masks on my face. I'm going live with two masks on my face. And she's still looking at me and telling me I don't have two masks on my face. I don't have my mask on.
Mm.
So now
Yeah.
everybody on the plane is mad.
Yeah, those kind of friends are trip too. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
got that homegirl that pops off. But what
Yeah.
I'm talking
Gotta
about,
stay away
y'all,
from them.
is them friendly enemies. Those
No,
people
but
who
she
come
said it was
into
my
your
fault.
but hold on, the people that come into our spaces and they pretend to be friends, they offer
Mm-hmm.
help, they smiling, they patting you on the back, they see you, "Hey sister girl, hey girl." But these people, the whole time they patting your back, y'all, I'm telling you, they looking for a soft spot to jug you in it. They're not really patting you on the back because they mean you well. They're not
Okay.
really there to be encouragers. Like, they'll see you down and leave you down there.
Oh,
They'll
that's
put
her.
their foot on the back of your neck and push
Mm-hmm.
you down there. So what I'm asking my sisters, and I'm so glad Marcella came back where she can weigh in too.
Me too.
How do you deal with those people? Because even me, I'm looking for a healthier way. I'm gonna add somebody else to the stream, make it make sense. I'm gonna cycle you out, and then I'll try to
Hmm.
pull you back in, okay? Because it stream y'all start acting a fool on me after it's too many people, okay?
Okay, that's fine.
All right, sis. All right, hey y'all.
Hi.
Hey,
All right.
hi.
So now tell me, oops. Okay, brown girl, what you got to say, sis? It's good to see you.
Um.
What's your
Hi.
input?
Well, I'm really grateful for Miss Marcella because what she was telling me is literally my story. What she said earlier about her mother beating her. My mother was the same way. My mother, um, She used to beat me with extension cords. My mother literally tried to kill me. But because she has a diagnosed mental illness, everybody just brushed it off as, oh, your mom, she got mental illness and da 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 da. But her anger was
Mhm.
literally about my father because she had two children by my father plus me, and my father had an, another baby born literally after I was born by another lady. So she was angry that he had gotten somebody pregnant while they was supposed to be together, and she literally took that out on me because
Mhm.
I looked exactly like him. I walked like him. I
Mhm.
stuttered like him. Everything about me was him, and
Mhm.
because she couldn't keep him, and it hurt me. The trauma that I dealt with, it hurt me so bad to the point that I didn't want to have children. I just chose not to have kids because I was so afraid that I would be abusive to my mother because that's all I knew is how my mother raised me and how she was as a mother, and I was so afraid that I would possibly beat my child or hurt my child. So I didn't have children, and I really wish that I had it, but sometimes our traumas, it just reaches over into our adult life. And
Mhm.
when you're going through all of those traumas, like I don't hug people, I'm not close to people, I don't cry, I don't, I can be very cold like my dad, and I can have a huge attitude like my mom.
Mhm.
So it's just, it's I don't know. I do like what you were stating about writing things down about your childhood and things like that, because a lot of us are walking around with a lot of um hurt and trauma, and
Mhm.
I know I carry that trauma over into my relationships, my personal relationships. um I know I carried some of it over. And I and
Mhm.
I and the crazy thing is, like, at work, I may see people, they give each other a hug, and I just don't want. I'll be like, I just shake my head.
Well,
I'll be
you
like,
have
no.
to be comfortable with your space, and you've adapted
Mhm.
based on your experiences, and that's okay. Like, I'm
Mhm.
not saying that's not okay, sis. If that's how you comfortable and you don't want people hugging all on you, it might be for the better. All of them don't bathe no way, so it's okay if you don't let them people hug you. It's all
That's
right.
true.
And you know what I'm saying, and we have to be
Mhm.
at home with that and at peace with that, and it's okay.
But
I
Have you
thank
been
you
to
for coming up.
therapy? Have you tried therapy?
Mhm.
I have tried therapy, and I just didn't stick through with it. But it is something that I have been thinking about. Going through my health insurance to get it,
Mhm.
because I really, I hate the fact that my relationships ends because of, you know what I know now is trauma, because now I'm in my 40s.
Mhm.
Here I am in my 20s, in my 30s. I didn't know the way I was acting and reacting was because of trauma. Now I'm in my
Mhm.
40s, and
Yeah.
a lot of research and stuff. Now I'm starting to see, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely
Well,
gonna get
I
back
do
into it.
therapy. I do therapy and it's still ongoing. I still have therapy, and that's, with my therapist, I don't have to take off and go to her office. We can talk on the phone. You got to do. She taught me breathing exercises, and
Mhm.
it's just I know that I'm not an emotional person. So, for
Mhm.
example, the situation that I was in, people were saying that I wasn't emotional because you didn't see it on my face, or
Mhm.
it's just me. You just don't know as a child. And then when I got to 16 and my mother was, then she switched from extension cords to her fist,
Mm.
Mhm.
trying to fight me. And one day my mother just hit me for nothing, and out of reflex, I grabbed her back and I started fighting her back. So
Yeah.
that morning I went to school, and my guidance counselor, where I went to school was all military kids because my stepfather was in the military. My guidance counselor got me pulled out of my home, and
Mm.
I had to go to a group home, but
Me
I was
too.
at peace when I went to the group home. I was at
Mhm.
peace.
Yes.
And when we went to court, they made my mother go through therapy and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
eventually I went back home. But you know what, y'all? I had graduated from high school at 16 and the situation wasn't no better. And so
Mhm.
I went to my father's family back in New York. I went home, I went back to New York because my mother met a military guy, moved us to Virginia. And I still had to go through therapy. I chose to go through therapy at 18 because y'all, I've been there. I'm not ashamed. First thing to heal me is that I can admit it and tell other people about it. And
Mhm.
then it helped me. It helped me just sharing the word. And I have biological kids, but I do foster care
Okay.
because
Okay.
you do not know. When I have these kids, it heals me too because I
Mm-hmm.
know what they're going through.
Mhm.
Some people be like, the social workers be like, I know what you're going through, but I really know. I mean,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I had long hair. My mother was washing my hair in the bathtub and tried to drown me. I
Mhm.
mean, it was just so much that had happened to me. And that's why I took when I got my first boyfriend and he cheated. I ain't care. He could just
Mhm.
leave because I
Me
couldn't
too.
allow myself to fall in love. I couldn't
Mhm.
fall in love
Mm-hmm.
because I was never loved by my own
Mhm.
mom.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
that's
I,
hard.
And see this, to me, like what you just said, Marcella, that was some real spill too.
Yep.
When you mentioned that helping those children like was therapeutic and it helped you,
Hmm.
like
Mhm.
that's what I think a lot of us are lacking. That's why I push so much for us to support each other, because
Mhm.
sometimes when you're trying to help somebody else, you end up helping yourself. Like
So.
it's very therapeutic to help somebody get through what you've gone through. It helps you to heal those old wounds, those old scars, pick
Mhm.
some of them scabs off, and really deal with what's on the inside that's really eating at you. And
Yeah.
Flower Child, I don't want
and
to forget you, baby. What you got to say, girl? You've
oh,
been up here
go
just
ahead.
quiet. We don't forgot.
Well, hello everybody. Hey chat.
Hello. Hello.
Hey,
Um,
y'all.
just to give a little backstory on me. Um, I'm from Atlanta, and I was raised by a single mom. She raised two daughters, and growing up, no father was in the house. My mom and dad got a divorce when I was about 10. But they were separated from about the age of 4 until well, from when I was 4 years old. And my mom, she worked at night, and she had to leave me and my sister at home by ourselves. And my sister, she's 2 years younger than me. Um, and just having to stay at home by myself. I'm 6 years old, and I'm responsible for making sure that we're safe, we're at home. And this went on until I was 13, and I kind of felt like I didn't get a chance to be a child. I didn't get a chance to go outside and play and do the things that kids did. I didn't get into sports until later on in life. And it's just me being a mother now and having a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
um it's kind of hard for me to, I guess, be emotional and be expressive towards my daughter, because I wasn't able to have that just growing up and
Mm-hmm.
always having to be the one, like I'm the mother figure, because my mom was never in the house. I felt like I struggle with that, being able to be emotional and being able to express that love to my daughter that I never got. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily blame my mother, but because her mother didn't raise her, she was raised by her grandmother and her father. So, it was kind of a learned behavior, but
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
just a struggle that I have, that, I feel bad when my child might come to me and I don't know how to handle it. I don't know what to do. We all learning. Nobody gave us a book on how to be a mother. None of us got an
Mm-hmm.
instruction manual on how to raise our kids and how to go along with this, path in the motherhood. But just something that I had to grow up and deal with, just not being able to express myself now as an adult. That's my struggle. And my mom, yes, she had an open door policy where you can come and tell her certain things, but you couldn't question what she said. What she said is what it is. You couldn't, you know, she had her rules and you had to follow them. And I try not to be
Mm-hmm.
that way with my daughter and let her, express herself and everything. But that's just something that I'm struggling with, and the issues that I have, being a mother and raising my daughter. So
Flower
Yes.
child, just I'm gonna tell you what to do. Just plan things for just you and your daughter, like going out to eat
Mhm.
something simple, Taco Bell, and where y'all can get your nails done, get your hair done, plan
Mhm.
stuff with her. Because see, that's what I had to do to turn it around with my biological daughters. Now, my youngest daughter, who's 24 years old, I
Mhm.
mean, I still got my titty in her mouth, but when she comes home, I try to do things with her because she'll tell me, "Well, you don't love me, mom. You don't want to listen." But it's not that. It's me and her react to things differently. My daughter could get
Yes.
hurt by a guy where I never got hurt. And then my daughter was
Marcella,
like,
I
"You don't
went through that.
understand.
I
You
went through
got to
that. Well, I
take
went
your
through
daughter
that with
out,
my daughter
flower
too.
child. Take her out. Spend a little bit of time with her, with nobody else. It don't
Yep.
have to be long. Just
Right.
say,
Yep.
I love you, and I just want you to be able to come to me and talk to me about anything, no judgment." And my daughter
Absolutely.
came to me one time. My daughter came to me and told me that she was raped. Did not even know. She didn't want to tell me because she said I wasn't emotional. And still, I
Mhm.
didn't cry. I didn't cry. I just worked on her with it and put her in therapy and attended that therapy with her.
Right.
But you know what,
Mhm.
Marcella, I just want to piggyback on that. You are right. I used to call it date night with my kids. That date night with your children is so important because it gives them that one-on-one time with mama, just
Mhm.
like they need bonding time when we first have them in the hospital, that skin to skin contact or whatever. You
Yeah.
still need that with your children. That big old girl that
Mhm.
y'all see come up here on the stream sometime, my big pretty one, up until she got too big, Marcella, I would still make that gal sit on my lap. Now the last time she sat on my
Mm.
lap, I said it was a bad idea. My legs went to sleep immediately. I said, no, sit on the arm of the chair, and I'm gonna just act like you in my lap. But you have to do that because they still need us to mother them, especially. I mean, our boys too, but our girls, they need us to mother them
Mhm.
so that they don't end up like us, unable to
Mhm.
emote. And we all have different reasons for why we're not able to emote. And I feel like we need to be able to talk about these things. We need a safe space where we can talk about this stuff and get it out there because it's real, y'all.
Oh,
I didn't grow up in a single parent home. I had mama and daddy. I had the world's best father in the world. I had
yeah.
a mama who was the Sunday school teacher, and her only job was to whoop kids, and she did a real good job. She whooped everybody. I think she whooped me every day until she just got tired and started, putting all my whippings to Saturday. She scheduled
And
my
my mama
visits.
was in the church. My mama was in the
Mhm.
church, and nobody would believe that she did that. And my mother used to go
My
to a
mother was too.
Pentecostal church.
Church. My
And my
A
mother
mama and my
Pentecostal
mother
church.
was
also.
the Baptist. My mom was the
Mhm.
Baptist Sunday school teacher. And literally, this lady's job was to whip the kids. Like she beat the kids in the street. If people came to visit us, they could get a beating. I mean, but a lot of these ladies, I think that they really didn't understand the level of psychological trauma that we were getting. And like
Mhm.
what Marcella, what you talking about, like that's a whole nother level. Like, you know what I'm saying? My mom was just a regular old school, real tough mom who was
Right.
absolutely unaware of anything psychological. Those folks didn't understand psychological trauma. They didn't understand anything to do with psychology. They understood survive and obey. That's all they understood. Do what I tell you to do, or I'm gonna tear your butt up. And that's all
And
they
see,
got.
I'm married
And
now, and my husband, this is my third husband. He
mhm.
understands me because you know what? When I was married my first two times, it's just like I got to a level and then I said, I don't want to be married no more. And when I filed for divorce, they was like, what's going on? But it was inside of me that I just didn't want to deal with that person no more. It was nothing bad. I just
Mhm.
was fed up, and so I have a hard time holding on to relationships. But with this husband, he understands me. And when I get that wild side that I just want to go out and go away, he allows me without any question. I go back home, I go back to New York and, walk the street. I mean, I do shit like I'm a tourist and I was born and raised there. But I
Yep.
just need to escape my surroundings sometimes because I want to go back in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Because that
Yeah.
hood mentality helped me. So sometimes I got to go home away from my area I live in now, where everybody
Hmm.
thinks that everything is stars, and go home to say it's some real shit going on where I'm from. And I
Yeah,
got
and
to
that's
see
what
that.
you need for you. But and you have to look at like that's what you need for your mental health. And I think it's important that we all recognize those things. Identify what we need for mental health, and then and apply it. That's the word I want, is to apply it. Like for you,
Mhm.
it's going back to your old stomping grounds and moving around. For me, it used to be going out on that water and fishing for hours, just catching fish I wasn't even gonna eat. Like whatever it is that you need to do to get to kind of reset the clock in your head, you've got to do it. Because when it's all said and done, we still got to come back and be mothers. We got to come back and be wives. We got to be
Yes.
business women. We still got to
Yes.
run the world, ladies. This thing ain't gonna stop spinning because we
Mhm.
got issues. We just have to find a way to deal with what it is.
Yep.
And that's why I had kind of like turned or pivoted the conversation to those friendly interactions, because I'll be honest, recently I have run into some of those people that are triggering some of my old maladaptive coping
Hmm.
mechanisms. And I don't mean, the good coping mechanisms that, like you said, going back to your old stomping grounds, or me going fishing, or me sewing a dress so that I can feel better. I mean, it's triggering those old coping mechanisms where, that rough, callous character comes out. And it's like, I don't want to be that person. It doesn't make me feel good. But when we run into those people that we know don't mean us any good, Marcella, how do you deal with it? Because you know what I mean? It's not an age thing, but I also know you my elder
So
sister. So
I'm
I
gonna
want to
tell
give
you
you that
something. It was a
respect.
girl. It was a girl here, and
Mm-hmm.
she would smile on my face every time she'd see me. She'd be like, "This is the socialite Marcella." But then I would hear she's talking about me behind my back.
Mm.
So you know what? I did go to her and say, "Listen, you don't really like me. I don't know why you playing this role, but you don't even have to go out your way and do this." But now when I see her, I
Mm-hmm.
speak and step away. Even if she wants to hold a conversation with me, I speak because I'm around other people,
Mm-hmm.
and I step away because,
Right.
see, that is somebody that would take me out of character.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to be out of character when I'm around important people, when I'm talking about charity. How could I be talking about foster kids and I'm violent? And I
Right.
know I have the potential of snapping. This, like, I want to explain. When I hit my mom, I was 16 years old, but
Right.
I wasn't planning on hitting my mom.
It
It's
was a
just that my
reflex.
body could, yeah, my body couldn't take no more whippings. I couldn't take my hair being pulled no more for nothing. Grab my hair and run me into a wall. And it seemed
Mm.
like it got worse over the summertime. So
Mm-hmm.
I just tell everybody now, we need to work with our daughters. And I'm gonna tell you what's the most important thing. Because our daughters, some of them are just sleeping around with guys because their daddies are not in their lives.
Yep.
Some, like me, because my mother whipped me and I had extension cord marks all over my body, I didn't sleep with a lot of guys. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? I didn't do that. I just shied away from being friends. I
Yeah.
y'all just understand that I just can't get close to people. And just like I tell my husband, it's not because I'm stuck up. It's because the abuse I went through, it won't allow me to have emotions for a good girlfriend. And I
Yep.
can't. I can take you and not take you. I don't have to, I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to be your friend because my mission is to help kids that's like
Mm-hmm.
me.
Yeah.
And
And you
that's
know
why
what?
I've had 40 kids in here. And you know why? It's because I listen to them.
Yeah. And I
I
understand
listen.
exactly where you're coming from with that. Um, I didn't have a lot of girlfriends coming up. I hung around a bunch of guys. I mean, to the extent that even my mannerisms were, questionable. I just got tired of people accusing me of being homosexual or whatever. They would use uglier terms than that, of course. And that's when the skirts and the high heels came into the picture. because I felt like, okay, maybe I'm giving off an energy that's misleading people about me. But it was because it, you know,
Protection.
yes, it was protection. I felt more protected. I felt like I could be more myself. I grew up in a situation where the women in my family were not very nice ladies, just being honest. So I was
Mhm.
closer with my father. I was closer to my brothers. I have 9 uncles. All of them, like literally, girl, they did everything but hoist me up on their shoulders and parade me around town. So that was my security blanket. So growing up with a bunch of men who protected me and cared for me, and then being in a household with my mother who was kind of rough, which of course is why I call her my pet dragon. And then her sisters and the women in the family on my mother's side, of course, were very critical, very mean, just hateful, verbally
Hmm.
abusive. And so that's where that real tough exterior came from. And I carried that out into the world. I avoided making friends with women. I avoided those interpersonal relationships with women. And I clung to my male friends, my male counterparts. And they really became my brothers to a very serious degree. We still call each other family now. Some of their wives call me sister-in-law. Like that's how deep it runs. But that's why now for me it's so important to make those connections with my sisters. Like I go out of my way to do that because I feel like that was something I did to survive at that time. Mentally, more than likely, that's what I needed to do to be healthy. But now that I've matured more, I realize the importance of our sisters. I realize the importance of sisterhood. I realize the importance of our elder sisters being able to give us wisdom on situations because you know you can get knowledge from a book. Wisdom comes from experience. And so we
Yeah.
need that and we need each other. So I want to always foster that. But honestly, I have run into more and more situations where some of these sisters, even though I'm breaking my neck to build those bonds and to honor those bonds, some of our sisters are so damaged that they don't mean you good, even when you mean them good, even when you're being transparent and you're opening your entire heart to folks. They don't always mean you the same good that you mean them. And it's like I don't want that to discourage any of us from still
Hmm.
trying to build those bonds because I am a firm believer that we only have each other. We cannot count on these men. Now that's not to say all of them are bad. That man I got is wonderful. He get on my nerves, but he's wonderful. I wouldn't trade him. Not even for a pot of oxtails. I wouldn't. But as a whole, y'all know what I'm saying now. You know, we got a few good men, and it's literally a few good men. But as a whole, we can't count on them, y'all. We can't. We have each.
But what we got to do is hold them accountable because we got to
Mhm.
stop having babies by these guys. And when we don't like the guys no more, then the children can't be around their fathers. Let
Right.
the fathers, let the children say, my father ain't no good.
Yep.
Because when we keep holding our children away from their fathers,
Yes.
you putting all that burden on yourself. You take
That's
him to
right.
court and for visitation. And you say you can't trust him, then you know what? You take him over to his mama's house. Because see,
Mm-hmm.
that's my thing is when we break up with guys, we stop letting them see their children. That
Yeah.
ain't hurting him, it's hurting our children. So now we starting another generation of dysfunction.
Yes.
We're starting another generation. Because now your daughter could go out and say, I can have a baby and you ain't got to be in my life.
Right. That's true
We
now.
need to hold them accountable. You know this nigga ain't got no job. You still take him to court for child support. No matter what. You sit that on their tail because in the state I live in, you got 6 months. You don't pay that court some money, they locking you up.
But here's the
And then
other
he'll
part, sis. The other parts of that is if he was broke, he didn't just get broke. Why did you lay down with that broke man? See, I have all kind of questions when these kind of things happen. We have to, who was this? I think it was Natasha. Natasha said some real stuff. Hey, Ty. Natasha said, if I remember correctly, if memory serves, Natasha said, protect your womb, ladies.
yes.
Protect your womb. You cannot continue to procreate with substandard men and expect these men to magically become valid people, useful people later. If that man is useless
Some of
now,
these
he is
men need a
useless later.
place to stay. Some
Girl,
of
them
these men
homeless
just want a
sexuals.
place to stay.
They want somewhere to
They will
stay.
eat.
They want to
They
be
eat
able to
your
they want
food
to be able to
stamps.
eat your children's snacks out the kitchen and eat up your children's cereal. That's what they want to do. They want to play with your son's PlayStation. Is what they want to do. They want to lay up on your
And,
couch and use your good toilet tissue. Is what they want to do. Drive your car while you at work and go pick up that other girl that he messing with, and she just as broke as him. See, we put ourselves in these bad situations because a lot of our sisters have the misconception that you have to have a man in your house, and you don't. You don't have to have no man in your house. You don't need no homeless sexual. You don't need no man that's, he's only attracted to you because you pay rent or you own housing. I know some men
yeah,
like that. I'm telling y'all,
me too.
I used to exclusively hang around men, the good, the bad, and the ugly. There are some men that don't like nothing better than a girl with housing and food stamps. Some of them like them just like that.
And he'll beat your tail too, and you'll still let him stay there. If you don't want him there, call the police and say he ain't on this lease. But see, in the state of Virginia, is a commonwealth state, a common law state. If you let that man move in with you, you got to take him to court to get him out. You
That's
can't
right.
just put him out.
But
Name ain't
it's
on
not
nothing.
just there, girl, because I know for the state of Florida, I had a very good friend and she owned her home. And because he had been there for over 30 days and got mail there, she had to go to the court and file eviction to get that man out of there. And see, and V Spencer's, hey girl, but it's true. I know a lot of our sisters don't want to hear it, but we have to tell the truth, y'all. And then we have some of our other sisters that may say it a little more roughly, a little more coarse and callously. And the first thing they say, oh, she hates single mamas. No, baby, she just telling you the truth and it don't sound nice. Because the fact remains, a lot of times we are the architect of our own problems. We create our own problems. We draw out the blueprints for our own trouble, and then we pay the contractor. And then we come back. Look at here. Miss Irette said it. Women have to realize they're the prize and value yourselves. Let the man win you. Stop trying to compete for a man. Soon as you meet him, you want to show him you can cook and you can clean and you can do this. But yet and still, you're not making him show you that he has any capabilities of taking care of you. When the gender roles become one-sided, then they no longer are gender roles. Then you're just a performing buffoon. Why are you doing
Yep,
this?
and guess what? When you have to keep your own kids, you don't get that time to be to yourself. You let that
No.
guy see that raising your daughter, your kids is a responsibility, is your week, and I'm gone. You can't watch them in my house. You
Yep.
got to make sure you know where your kids are going. But guess what? Don't lay up with no irresponsible bum. And
Don't
then
do it.
you take them to his mama's house because you know
Mm-hmm.
what? The grandma's part of the family too.
That's
We gotta
right.
stop. We gotta stop just letting these guys get away with no visitation. Because once they see how hard it is to raise kids, they will slow down and cover up their penises.
Yes, they will. But I'm gonna tell you something else, sis. If we stop allowing them access to our bodies without having the requirements, a lot of these conversations won't even be necessary. And I'm not even gonna get started on the spiritual implications of laying up with some of these men. Some of these men are cursed, but we're gonna talk about that another
Some
day.
of these men are sharing other people's souls with
Thank
your
you.
vajayjay.
They really are. And some of them are just flat out cursed. Let me tell y'all, if you don't know, baby, poverty is a curse. Understand me. Take that into your spirit. Poverty is a curse. I'm going to say it one more time. Poverty is a curse. And when you go lay up with some impoverished man, and you don't even know his spiritual background, you don't know his family, you didn't find out whether he come from a two-parent home or a one-parent home, and you taking on all this baggage with sight unseen. You didn't do any research. He just had a penis and he was ready to go. Now you have a child that's connected and tied to this man. You have effectively tied yourself to this man. So we have to, like Natasha said, protect your womb. No one is forcing you to be bothered with these men. Just because a man tells you pretty, it don't mean you owe him nothing. Essence says, my
Right.
mama told me every man you let up in you leave a piece attached to your spirit, and your mama told you the truth.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
one the
that's
Bible
fact.
call them soul ties. But I'm gonna tell you something a little bit deeper. That man leaves a little bit of his DNA in there. Natasha says sexually transmitted demons. If you notice yourself when you mess with a man for too long, you start to take on some of his characteristics if you're not careful. So it's like you're sharing a piece of yourself. You're allowing somebody into your body and physically, but spiritually also into yourself. We have to do better about choosing our mates and who we allow into our bodies, who we allow into our spaces, and who we allow to father our children. Some of y'all children right now bad as hell. And it's not because you was a bad kid. You didn't even build a
It's
solid
not because you're a
relationship.
bad parent. It's not because you're a bad parent. It's because their father's spirit, and they're
It's
not
still in that
having
child.
that reinforcement of having a man. I don't care if it's
Yes,
a girl. A girl needs a man father. Or, they need that other enforcement. Other than that, your kids will gang up on you.
it's true. And
But
you have
we know
to
like we need
consider,
to save that for another topic.
yeah, we're
We
gonna
need
save
to.
that one for another day, girl. That's a good one. Yeah, that is a good one though. But we have to consider that these children take on the attributes of their fathers. And when we don't take enough time to truly get to know their fathers, you don't even know who in your house. Sometimes these
And when
children
you
are an
bash
executive
their
record.
fathers too, you can't bash your children fathers to
No, don't
your
do that in
children.
front of those kids. Nope. Essence say what you said, Seanitra, which is why you need to take time to be single and learn who you are after a breakup. No jumping out of one into another. That's transference and not growth. That's true. That is very true. Hey, Rara. Oh, you pretty. Hey,
I'm gonna
girl.
lay down. I'm gonna lay down because my ear been hurting. I swear for two
Oh.
days, and I've been taking amoxicillin and stuff.
Hmm?
But I love this topic because we gotta reach one another.
That's true. Well,
We
get you
have
some
to.
rest.
I'll
Thank
be
you so
watching
much
the.
for coming. Yes, and get some
Like,
rest and don't mess up that pretty hair, girl. Your hair look good.
oh, it's a wig, girl. I'm about to slap this wig on the dresser and lay down.
Bye, girl. Yep.
Sign me out.
All right, I got you, boo.
All right.
Bye bye. But yeah, these are the conversations we have to have, y'all. We got to be real enough to have these conversations. We got to be real enough to be honest with ourselves. If you know you done mess with a man that wasn't worth your time, then maybe we talking to you. I've done it. I've talked to a man that was not worth my time. I ain't never really went and messed with no broke one. Ooh, hallelujah for the lamb. But I have messed with a man that was not worth my time. It's true. So we just have to really take a look at it, pay attention, acknowledge, apologize to ourselves if it's our past. Hell, if it's your present, apologize to yourself and get that man out your house. Vera says, as a woman, I've always wanted a good girlfriend, someone to be honest with, and they be honest with me. But as I get older, I find that hard to find. So I'm learning to deal with myself, but it's not easy. Well, sis, a lot of people in the same boat with you. It's okay. Essence says, if I would have known then what I know now, Jesus. No regrets though, but I can only hope that my children don't take all the falls that I did. I know that's right. Hey, love you too. Come back next time. Yes, we've all been there. And that's what I was saying earlier. The things that we've done to ourselves, the situations we put ourselves in, we have to be honest enough to acknowledge them and forgive yourself. Learn from it. Even if you got to write it down. I'm the queen of writing some stuff down. I got a bunch of notebooks and binders and notepads everywhere around here. It's real sad. And y'all would cry for me if you saw how many I had. But sometimes write things down and just, think about all the takeaways you could have from your situations. Oh, what? He got 22.5 years. Well, y'all heard it from our sister. I wasn't watching the news, but thank you for letting us know, girl. Okay. And you were a teenage mama. Okay, so I know your hands were full. Okay. Well, that's good. At least we got a chance to talk for today. I didn't plan to stay for a long time, but I was hoping to have a good time, and y'all did not disappoint. We definitely had a good time talking. Of course, you know I'm on the countdown because we done gave it a good hour and a half of us sitting up being sisters and getting everything out. Lord, you up here ignoring work. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Well, what I will say is I appreciate you guys. I love y'all so much. Again, I definitely enjoyed our crown therapy for today. Again, ladies, please make time for your own crown therapy. If you have a crown, slide it on. If your crown is a stiletto, slip your foot in it. If it's a glass of wine, y'all pull it up. Next go round, we're going to talk about some new issues next Friday on crown therapy. You know, we always have our crown chats, our little mini crown chats during the week. Sometimes they run long too. Because if y'all got something to say, I want you to say it and be able to get it out because we all family. You know, when you come here, you at your sister's house. So you can make yourself at home and say absolutely anything that's on your mind. And not last but not least, y'all know we're gonna be on the front porch again tomorrow night. I may move the time up to 9:30 because some of y'all be falling asleep on me on the live. And that's okay too. We don't mind y'all sleeping. You know, we all kin folks. So we'll be on the porch again tomorrow, gossiping, talking about what's going on in social media, what's happening in the news, what's happening with these celebrities and reality stars, and we're gonna get into it. And if you are in here right now, and you did not hit the like button, y'all please hit the like button. Before you go, if you have not subscribed, please, if you think it not robbery, please subscribe. Ty, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you, and also everybody who donated today. I appreciate you supporting the channel. And before y'all go, everybody under the sound of my voice as well, I want to speak a blessing into your lives. I want to speak abundance into your lives, prosperity, productivity. May your children never bring you shame. May your husbands always honor you. May your money expand exponentially and your waistlines decrease. And we're going to talk again next time. I love you guys, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Bye bye.